So, something really crazy just happened last night, and we have got to talk about it because there's this movie called Scooby Doo and Krypto 2, which was supposed to be a Scooby Doo and Krypto the Superdog crossover. You know, there's always multiple Scooby Doo animated movies that release every year, direct to video, and every once in a while there's a DC crossover one. There was a Batman the Brave and the Bold one a couple years ago that I really enjoyed, and so this Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2 was supposedly in development. But the weird thing about it is that it was never officially announced. The only reason we actually knew this movie was a thing is due to online listings of DVDs, but there was never any official release date for it. I think it was supposed to actually originally released before the last animated Scooby-Doo movie that came out in October, which was Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. So it was supposed to come out before that. It didn't. It got delayed for some reason and still was just shelved. It was never officially announced. Nothing was ever going on here. And at this point, it was kind of looking like it wasn't going to come out because Warner Brothers Discovery has been very unkind to Scooby-Doo lately because, of course, one of the big stories over the summer when David Zaslav took over Warner Brothers and it became Warner Brothers Discovery is that they canceled Batgirl and Scooby-Doo Holiday Haunt, two movies that were already pretty much complete and ready to go, but were scrapped for tax write-offs. Really stupid reasons just to try and save some money. And then these last couple months, what a lot of people have been noticing, I mean, obviously the Scooby-Doo community has, but most people, the general public, had no idea that Warner Brothers Discovery has basically been trashing every Scooby-Doo property because Scooby-Doo Holiday Haunt, which was the prequel slash spin-off from 2020 Scoob movie, that was the first one to go. But then they also canceled Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Pups. They canceled a Hex Girls movie. And then this Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2 had supposedly been canceled as well. And it was just really, really frustrating that all of these Scooby-Doo projects that all of us Scooby-Doo fans were really, really excited to see were all getting canceled by Warner Bros. Discovery for basically no reason, when instead the Scooby-Doo content they are giving us is the Velma HBO Max series. Not only that first season came out, but they already renewed it for season 2, which, oh my god, that is... I tried watching it, guys. I could not get past the first 2 episodes. It is that bad. If you haven't watched it yet, save yourself and do not watch it. Don't even try. It's not good. It's really not good. So they give us that, but they won't give us what we actually want. But this brings us to what we're talking about here today with Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2, because like I said, last night something really crazily insane happened. So this movie had supposedly been canceled. We didn't think it was going to ever come out. We didn't think we would ever see any version of this film. But then, so the day before yesterday was when it was kind of revealed that all these Scooby-Doo projects were canceled. And then coincidentally, the very next day, this full movie leaks online through Twitter. There's a Google Drive link going around, and me personally, for copyright reasons, I can't personally supply you with the link. I'm not going to put in the description or anything like that. But guys, it's really hard to find unless Warner Brothers Discovery has taken it down by now, which is totally possible. But if it's still up there, literally just go on Twitter, search up this movie, and you will find it very easily. You can probably also search it on Google, Reddit, all that stuff. You can find and watch this movie, and that is exactly what I did. This movie, to most people, doesn't even exist because it was never even officially announced. It never officially released, but yet last night I watched it. I watched this movie, and I gotta say, I actually really loved it. This movie was awesome. It was really, really great. So I watched it and I had a great time with it. Now we're going to do a little mini review and breakdown. It's going to be half spoiler, half non-spoiler. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'll let you know when we get to the spoilers. But I definitely highly recommend checking it out because even in this leaked version, it's not terrible quality either. I had it playing on my tablet and then I had it screencasted to my TV, and it was fairly decent quality. And the thing that I don't get is that this movie was literally 100% complete and ready to go, but for it to be canceled and just not release it, literally, what is the point of that? It's just really weird. But man, this movie was awesome. Because you get not only a good Scooby Doo movie, because this was a great Scooby Doo movie. I've always been a lifelong fan of Scooby Doo. I've loved these characters. I've loved the mystery. I grew up on the Scooby Doo franchise, and lately, these last couple years, a lot of these animated Scooby Doo movies have been pretty lackluster and cringy and just weird. But I like, first of all, we go back to the more classic animation style that's more of the What's New Scooby Doo animation style. So I really enjoyed seeing that. But there were also some classic Scooby Doo tropes in here and jokes. The voice cast, of course, was great as always. It was just a really good Scooby Doo mystery, which was another thing is that I a lot of in these recent Scooby Doo movies, they've been um adding in a lot of really like crazy wacky stuff, and there was wacky stuff in here, and that was the thing I was worried about is like, oh, it's a DC, it's set in the DC universe and they're going to do some crazy stuff with superpowers and all that stuff, but they don't really do that too much with the Scooby-Doo characters. Like I thought they were going to give like Scooby and Shaggy superpowers or something like that, or do something crazy, but no, they still keep a focus on a central mystery, which I really enjoyed. But again, they also include this really cool factor of having Krypto the Superdog, because basically the plot synopsis of this film is that the Justice League goes missing. So who do they call in? None other than Scooby-Doo and Mr. Incorporated, who then end up teaming up with Krypto the Superdog to try and solve this mystery of the disappearance of the Justice League. So I really enjoyed that. There's some really cool storylines going on here, like, for example, the fact that I thought it was really funny that Jimmy Olsen thought he was dating Daphne, and they had that prior relationship, so you spent the whole movie with Fred being super jealous about that, Fred trying to be Batman, wearing a utility belt. That was great to see. I really enjoyed seeing that, because that's another thing we haven't really seen touched on in a couple of years now, is really the Fred and Daphne romance relationship. It's not really highlighted too much lately, but it was really highlighted here, so I really enjoyed seeing that. And it was a great DC movie as well. There were so many great DC references. The villains in here were great. Solomon Grundy, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Zod, and some other Kryptonians, Giganta. There were some great villains in this movie. And let's talk about some references as well. So this is where we kind of get into some more of the spoilery territory. If you plan on watching the movie, go check it out for yourself, especially if you're a DC fan. You're gonna probably notice some of these references, but if you're not a DC fan, or at least not a hardcore DC fan, because there's some really deep cuts here, watch this video. So one of the biggest ones I noticed at the beginning is that Scooby and Shaggy go out to this food truck, and the big name on the food truck is Challenge of the Super Fries, which is a huge reference to Challenge of the Super Friends, which was this big multi-episode story on the original DC Super Friends cartoon series from back in the 60s or 70s. Man, I love this show. I believe it's still streaming on HBO Max. Such a classic. Challenge of the Super Friends. As soon as I saw that, like at first I thought it actually said Challenge of the Super Friends, but no, it's Challenge of the Super Fries. But that was a really cool reference right there. And then it was really cool. Obviously, this is the golden opportunity right here when Shaggy and Scooby are running around and causing mayhem in the Hall of Justice. There's some great references here. Like, for example, you see right here in this shot, we have the Dr. Fate helmet and some other stuff I can't exactly tell because, again, it wasn't great quality, but it wasn't terrible either. This is great. We have Starro the Conqueror, who of course was the villain of 2021's The Suicide Squad movie, and this red robot guy on the left side. I believe they're called the Guardians. I could be wrong about that, but I just remember seeing those characters appear in an episode of Justice League, or maybe it was Justice League Unlimited, fighting the Green Lantern. So that was a really cool reference. We also have literally all of the different not Green Lanterns, but the different lantern rings. The Green Lantern ring, the Red Lantern ring, pink, black, all that stuff. So that was great to see, especially we get to see Shaggy and Scooby use those a bit later. There's some other cool background stuff here as well. We get a look at Atlantis. We get to see the Fortress of Solitude. We get some great suits on display, like we have this Superman suit that I remember Superman wore this spacesuit in Superman the Animated Series. Batman, I'm not sure exactly what that suit is from, but that could be a number of things. Wonder Woman, that is her Golden Eagle armor, which we did see in live action recently in Wonder Woman 1984. We have probably one of my favorite ones is Solomon Grundy is chasing Shaggy and Scooby on the cosmic treadmill, which then obviously causes them to go throughout time. And one of the places they go in time is to the future, where we get a look at the Legion of Superheroes. Not only just the characters, the Legions of Superheroes, but specifically the versions from the early 2000s Legion of Superheroes cartoon series. That was a great reference. I love that one right there. It's just a split second cameo, but it was such a great inclusion to see. Like I said, Shaggy and Scooby using the Green Lantern rings and, well, Yellow Lantern ring as well to make some food, because, that's what they do. There was also a Black Vulcan costume as well. He, of course, is an original character from the Super Friends series as well. Black Vulcan is a character that I wish got some more respect. Like, I'd love to see Black Vulcan in live action one day. He's a really cool character that not many people even know who he is. This was another one of my favorite moments where Shaggy and Scooby dress up as Robin and Speedy. And based on Shaggy's hairdo there, I'm guessing this is supposed to be specifically Robin from Teen Titans Go, or the Teen Titans cartoon in general. Speedy, Scooby is Speedy. Red Arrow was awesome as well. We also have another Super Friends reference, as we have Shaggy and Scooby dressed up as Marvin and I don't remember her name, but these were like the two human characters, like the two non-powered characters on Super Friends that were kind of just like tagging along for like no reason. I don't think I've actually seen any of those episodes that they were a part of, but this was a great reference as well, of course, with the rainbow coloring effects over them to reference the intro, the title card for the Super Friends cartoon series. This just, of course, as fun as always, seeing our characters dress up as these heroes. Shaggy as Superman, Scooby Doo as Wonder Woman. That's great to see. We did get some verbal references, or no, we did get a visual reference. I just didn't end up getting a screenshot of it, of the Royal Flush Gang. We also got a mention of Mad Mod, which I think is one of the deepest references in this whole film, because the mayor references Mad Mod, and I was like, whoa, that's a deep cut, because of course he is a classic Teen Titans villain that really has only appeared in Teen Titans cartoons and in the comics, but not anything recently. So that was a really deep cut I enjoyed to see. And probably one of the biggest surprises to me was a reference to the Superman musical, which I didn't even know was a thing, but apparently there was Superman the musical. It was a 1975 TV movie musical. This was probably one of my favorite references, because I didn't even know it was a thing, and now that I know it's a thing, I'm going to see if I can find a way to watch this, because this sounds, I'm assuming it was probably pretty bad and cheesy, but now I kind of want to watch it. Superman the musical, that sounds kind of crazy, but kind of awesome at the same time. And of course, we do have Lex Luthor in this film as well. And I think Lex Luthor was portrayed perfectly, because he was both hero and villain in this movie. Because for most of it, we actually spent Lex Luthor kind of working with Krypto and Mystery Inc. to solve the mystery of the disappearance of the Justice League. Kind of, playing both sides. We even get a reference to him being the former president of the United States, which is a thing he does in the comics. And so he's a hero for most of it, but of course, in the end, he turns full villain. He turns against the Justice League. We get some Phantom Zone stuff going on here as well. I love how we have Lex Luthor and his robots, his army of robots with the kryptonite, his dog, which I already thought the name of the dog was hilarious, with his dog's name being Rex, so then his name is Rex Luthor, but then also the fact that because that's how Scooby Doo pronounces Lex Luthor's name anyway, so Rex Luthor, that was hilarious. And then the fact that Rex Luthor actually turns out to be a robot kryptonite dog, that was great to see. And of course, in the end, Krypto and the Scooby Gang, they're able to save the day, take down Lex Luthor, all that stuff, and the Justice League is saved. So we get a nice little Superman cameo here. We get a nice Justice League lineup with, of course, Superman, Wonder Woman, Hawkman, Aquaman, and the Flash. Interesting, no Batman, but just interesting right there. Actually, now that I think about it, there weren't really many Batman references in this movie other than Fred using the Batman utility belt and there being a bunch of Batman villains in here. So that's interesting. And then of course our villains are taken away to prison and Mercy Graves as well. I did kind of predict that she was going to be behind the Phantom, the like lava Phantom, which I thought was a really cool design for the ghost of this movie. It was a bit predictable that she was the big villain, but then of course Lex Luthor betrayed her and all that stuff. So that was great to see. And so, yeah, we get our happy ending. The Justice League and Mystery Inc., Krypto, all of them. I love how Solomon Grundy was just trying to make friends with Scooby Doo, and he starts petting him, and Scooby's all scared out of his mind. We got Krypto with his emergency Scooby snacks, which is, this actually looks to be specifically the Scooby snacks design from, oh man, I actually don't even remember what it specifically is, but I feel like it's either, I think it was Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase, I believe, is when they had the orange box with the yellow stripe and the blue text. Don't quote me on that, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below if you guys know the answer. But yeah, and then also how the Flash was getting in on it as well. That was great to see. But yeah, I mean, guys, Scooby Doo and Krypto 2 was a great movie, and all the sweeter the fact that this was leaked online and I just got to watch for free basically. Um this was great. This was an awesome film and I do not get it all why Warner Brothers Discovery would cancel this and not want to release it because I mean, jokes on them because it's out there now and people are watching it, but it was really fun. It was a great movie. It was a great Scooby-Doo movie. It was a great DC movie. It was overall a really great film. Like, a lot of the jokes in here were actually genuinely funny. As a DC fan, there were a lot of great DC references. I just had a lot of fun with this. And if you haven't watched it yet and you're still watching this video, I mean, I kind of just spoil it for you. But I hope that you do watch it because it's really good. And I do hope that they eventually do officially release this because this is the type of movie that I would want to actually physically own on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever because this was a great film. I really enjoyed it. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you watch Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2? What did you think about it? What did you think about all